Hello, Spiffers. Welcome. It's good to see all of you. It's been a long time. My name is Jamie Woodhouse. I am the CEO and lead trainer at SAS Educators. For those of you who don't know me, I am an old Spiff trainer. I used to work in the Spiff training and education department and loved working there. It was great. And we did on-demand courses. I might have trained some of you in a couple of different classes and gotten to know you, whether you came on site or we just did it interactively online. Also, you might notice me from the on-demand courses that we used to have in the old Spiff University. The old Spiff University is no longer. We have now moved over, well, Spiff has now moved all of its education and training over to all the documentation over to Salesforce Help. And with that, unfortunately, the on-demand videos went away. And I just started thinking, I've been missing you. I still love training Spiff and working with people so that they can learn Spiff. So I thought it would be great to see you again and to be able to do these YouTube videos. So I thought that I would do a weekly 5-minute, real quick tip or trick of the week, something that's top of mind for me as I've been training on Spiff for years now and want to help, want to do everything that I can to help everybody get the most out of their Spiff software. It's a great, great software. I absolutely love it. And I'm excited to still teach people on how to get the most out of their commissions using Spiff. So let's get started with today's 5-minute tip of the week. So what I want to start with at the very beginning is the vision, or why Spiff? Why does Spiff even exist? I'm a big vision person. I like to be able to know the purpose behind software, not just, okay, I'm using software just to use software. I really want to know why this was created, why the software was made, so that I can use it in the correct ways. So I thought it would be a great start to the 5-minute tips of the week to be able to talk through the vision of Spiff and why Spiff was created. So Spiff was started probably about 7 years ago. And those of you know who have been with us for a while, that Spiff got acquired by Salesforce last year. And so it's fun to see how Spiff has evolved and how it's getting more and more integrated into Salesforce. But the way that it started was that our CEO and one of our founders used to work where he would go and visit businesses. This is all pre-COVID, where we actually visited people more often. And he went out and he visited companies, and he was walking around and seeing their workforce and seeing how they have their offices set up. And he was working more closely with sales departments. And as he walked around the sales departments, he saw each sales representative had 2 different screens on their desktop. Why did they have 2 different screens? Why do you think? I bet you know. You're like, yep, I know our guys. They've got 2 screens up as well. One screen, they had Salesforce up. This is where they worked from. This is how they did all of their work and saw all of their opportunities and continued to follow up with people in the pipeline. Second screen that was up, what do you think was on that second screen? Any guesses on that one? Yep, you're right. It was Excel. They had Microsoft Excel up on the second screen. And it didn't matter what company he went to, he saw this all across the sales floors. Salesforce was up on one screen, Excel on the other screen. And he's just like, what in the world? Why is this, standard process across all the companies that he was working with? And so he asked, he's like, why does everybody have Excel? I get why they've got Salesforce up and in their main screen. Why do they have Excel on this other screen? And every single customer or company that he talked with, they said, well, they use that to track their own commissions. And as he dove into that deeper and was asking, well, why did they track their own commissions? He started finding out that sales reps did not trust their commissions when they got their commissions checks. So they spent a lot of time and a lot of energy on this Excel spreadsheet figuring out what their commissions would be every time they did a sale so that they could compare their commissions check once they got it with this Excel spreadsheet. And if they matched up, great. If they didn't, then they would get to the commission admins and start throwing fits. Or get with their bosses and be like, this is all wrong. And they just didn't have a whole lot of trust with their commissions. Then he asked, well, how much time do you think it takes them to get away from selling and actually do the Excel spreadsheets? And, most of the people were like, well, it could be upwards of half of their time, 50% of their day, 20 hours a week that they're spent on just checking their own commissions and not actually doing any selling. So big light bulb came on, and he was like, well, I bet you if we built a software that could help with this problem and get rid of that second screen where they have to spend so much time keeping track of their own commissions, then we'd really increase productivity, increase sales. It would be a win-win for everyone. So that's why he came up with the idea of Spiff. So there's three main things that as I do these tips of the week, and if you come out to one of my boot camps that I do across the country, one thing that you'll hear me talk about is I'll kind of come back to these three items a lot as we discuss different concepts within Spiff, because it all ties back to this vision of why are we doing this and how do we do this and make this a little bit better. So the first reason of Spiff, and the first thing we want you to really think about when using Spiff, is we want to put trust back into the commissions process. We want so much trust built in the commissions process with our tools Spiff that sales reps don't have to ask questions anymore. They can get their answers right from the software. They don't have to complain. They don't have to spend so much time second guessing and double checking and doing their own calculations to find their commissions and their correct commissions. They will actually trust the commissions process because they'll be able to see it within Spiff and see it in real time. But I'll get to that in a second. The second one, which I just mentioned, was that real-time visibility and transparency. Spiff adds that transparency to the commissions. We want to give them a lot of information. We want to, what I like to call, tell the right story when they are seeing their commissions within Spiff so that they can understand why they're getting paid the way that they are, how the calculations are made, where their attainment is at, how close they're to quota, all those different things. We want to go ahead and make that and create that visibility and transparency so that they can trust that. They have that data at their fingertips. They don't have to keep track of that on their own anymore. So we'll talk a lot about how we can build that visibility and transparency. Finally, we want to motivate reps. Kind of the other key factor to Spiff is we want to motivate reps with seeing potential earnings insights and how they can see their pipeline, how they can see it within Salesforce. That's key. That's something that doesn't come out of the box. It needs to get set up, and it is definitely technically a little bit complicated. I won't be getting into that, but there's a tool called the Salesforce Commission Estimator that actually goes into Salesforce, and you can see it right in Salesforce on an opportunity of what your commission is going to look like. So cool, highly recommend it, but it does take a little bit of time, but there's some good documentation in Salesforce help on how to get that done. But if you don't have that, that's best case scenario. If you don't have that, they can see it in Spiff. They can see it right on their commission statement, and they can see where their potential earnings will come from to motivate them to sell more, to get close to closing things, because they know exactly how much commission they're going to make on every deal that they close, and they have that granularity, and they can actually see that within Spiff. So that's why Spiff exists. I don't know if you knew that. Maybe you did. Maybe our sales team did a really good job of telling you those three things and having those three focuses. But that's the whole reason why Spiff exists. And if you're not getting trust in your commissions process, if you're not helping your reps feel more, have more visibility and transparency into their commissions. Or if they are not seeing what their potential earnings could be if they close future deals or deals that are in their pipeline, you're kind of missing the boat with Spiff. That's what really gives Spiff the power. So hopefully these tips and tricks will help you out a lot as you work through, as you use Spiff and work through Spiff. And I really hope that these 5-minute tips and tricks will help you get excited. Nobody gets excited about commissions. They're very complex and very difficult to try and create or troubleshoot. But I'm going to give you a lot of tips and tricks to help you make your life easier and to help you get your reps more excited for using Spiff and understanding how to get the benefits out of Spiff. So thanks, everybody, for joining me today. I probably went a little over 5 minutes. I tend to do that. I'm going to try and keep these to 5 minutes as much as I can. But thanks again for joining me. Please go to saaseducators.com. I'll add it to the comments and look to see what city I'm coming to next. Hopefully I'm coming to a city near you, and you can come and be part of the 3-day boot camps. It's the best way to learn Spiff. If you work through the documentation or different things like that, it's going to take you a long time to figure out how to use Spiff. Just come to a city or a seminar that's close to you. Come to one of my boot camps, and you'll learn in 3 days what most Spiff employees learned when they first got hired on, because we did that as well. Anyway, thanks, you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.